In an alternate universe, all I talk about is relationships, mjolo, marriage, and the struggles of love and romance. If you've never heard me say this before, please note me saying this now. Relationships amongst human beings are the most difficult things on earth. Not making money, not health problems, which are sometimes caused by relationships, not your work itself. Relationships amongst human beings are the most complex thing on earth. Today I was thinking about housewives, independent women. Saw a nice clip on Instagram, and this guy was saying, to men who cannot fully take care of a woman financially, spiritually, emotionally, those men should not get involved in these conversations around masculinity and modern women. There's this new wave of men who are masculine. Oh, women should submit. I miss the good old days when women used to. And this guy's like, if you can't provide for a woman fully, get out of there, because you're talking shit. And he's basically also saying the reason women are forced to be independent is because when they try and rely on men, men are not dependable. That's a fact. I've dated women in the past, and a lot of them have wanted to submit. They've wanted me to make all the decisions. And I've always been hesitant, And as I got to meet people and counsel couples and advise people in relationships, I realized why. It's because it didn't make sense to me to want to dictate to a woman who makes her own money, who's educated, who can solve her own problems. Who am I? Anyways, this is what I wanted to say, specifically to the men out there who want to have housewives. The whole concept, and look, it's just an idea. It's just an idea. The whole concept of a housewife is a firstborn child. What do I mean by that? I mean, if you and your woman have 2 children, and you decide, or she decides, that she's going to be a housewife, she then becomes your 3rd child. And not your 3rd child, but she becomes your firstborn. What that means with the firstborn is that you have to take care of her as if you are taking care of your child. I've said this before, and women have caught feelings. The whole marriage concept is an adoption of a woman from her father. That's why you guys take the man's surname. That's why you wear a ring, so that people can see that you're adopted. You're not really blood, but you are owned by this man, and you take his surname. And you become umamwaga, because you now belong to this man. So you become the firstborn. And because you're the firstborn, Ubaba now needs to take care of you like he does his children. That means he must give you a home. That means he must feed you. That means he must clothe you. That means he must ensure that you get a decent education and become empowered and become useful. What happens from there is then up to the couple. Once you're empowered as a woman, you either go work for the family out there, so you get a job and you bring money back so that Ubabuak or your father gets to decide what's going to happen with that money. Or maybe he sets you free to go become your own woman, whatever that looks like. That could be a conversation for another day. But the bottom line is you become the firstborn. And because you're the firstborn, you're also responsible for your siblings being your children. You need to make sure that they are ready in the morning to go to school. You need to make sure that they're doing their homework. You need to make sure, like your siblings, that you guys are keeping the house clean. But because you're the oldest, you have to supervise the rest and make sure that all the chores are done. Now, part of the problem is this. Women want to be housewives, but they want to dictate the terms and conditions. And that's not how it works. Your firstborn child doesn't say, I want to live in this house. I want to drive this car. No, I need a weave and a wig for 5,000 rand. The firstborn gets to listen to the directive of the father. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say this. There are a lot of women who are making their own money who say reckless things like, I'd love to be a housewife, so long as he's giving me 30,000, 50,000, 20,000 a month. Nah, that's not how it works. Once you start wanting to dictate the terms and conditions, it means you're not submitting. It means you're not a housewife. It means you're not allowing him to lead you. If he decides that in this household, you as the firstborn and your siblings, being y'all's children, are going to be living off 20,000 a month, that's how much you want to be living off of. If you want to be living off 10,000 rand a month, then maybe you have to move from Sandton to maybe a lower end suburbia like Sophia Town in Johannesburg, maybe to the township, Orlando, So wait, you can't as a woman be like, "Ooh, I'm sorry, I can't do that." Because now that means you're no longer a housewife, you're no longer submitting, and you're no longer allowing him to lead. You're coming to dictate. You're actually a terrorist in this guy's house, and he probably needs to let go of you. In a nutshell, I'm trying to say this. If you're in a situation as a couple where you're both independent, the conversations need to be as such. If you as a woman, as an example, want the man to lead, it must be because he's proven that he has the qualities to solve problems better. He's a better spokesperson for the family. Even when it comes to your money, he gives you good advice on where to invest it, how to use it. When you want to take the child to a private school that's expensive, he sits and he says, look, maybe let's look at things like this. Maybe if you take the child to a good public school, you can save some money, take some of this money and then invest in getting a better car, get some rental property. Let's use this money to go on holiday. And he advises you well, even in your personal life. He tells you, look, I think you're gaining a bit of weight. Let's maybe look into the diet in this household. Do we need to be eating these fatty foods every day? Let's try something else. That's a leader. It's a problem solver. You as a woman could be making 80,000. He could be making 40,000. And you're like, this guy leads me. I listen to him. The reason I'm even making 80,000 is because of the advice he's given me or the opportunities he's shown me. I want him to lead me. That's fine. But when it comes to money and decision making, if you as a woman are good enough, it can't be that a man is going to lead and direct and dictate to you. And you have to ask for his permission to go visit your family. You have to ask for his permission to pay certain school fees when you're adequate enough. In a situation where you want to be a housewife and he's going to be taking care of you, understand that you are the firstborn and you must allow him to lead. As the firstborn, of course, it's up to you to give good suggestions and be Ubaba's right-hand man and say, listen, thank you so much, Baba, I appreciate, but maybe we should look into something like this. Do the kids need to go to such expensive schools and we live in the township when maybe we can move to suburbia, decent home, and the kids can go to a decent public school and at least there's a bit more of a balance. Maybe this is what you should be doing. Maybe instead of paying so much transport for the kids to go to school, maybe, Baba, if you can afford a bit of money, buy me a little car. Buy me a little Tassie, like King Pen. Penuel the Black Pen. So that I have a car and I can drive the kids around. And also when you need chores to be done, you don't need to always be paying for Ubers or getting someone to drive me. I can drive around. If you can just spare a little 60,000 Rand a month or get a personal loan and we can do this thing. Baba, maybe you should pay me an allowance so that you don't have to worry about the groceries are out. This thing is short. If you can give me 5,000, 10,000, I'll pay for the cleaner. I'll pay the gardener. I'll make sure there's groceries. I'll pay for some of the little things. If the kids need stuff at school, I'll sort that out. That's what you do as a firstborn. But if you want to dictate the terms and conditions, it's not going to work, unfortunately. And as men, until you guys are willing to fully take care of women, that means be her pastor, be her politician and president, be her financial advisor, be whatever she needs, be her employer, be her funder. If you're not going to be able to do that, get out of there when these conversations about women's submission, women are independent and get out of there. Especially when it's trying to hold men to account. Men are very quick to tell women, yeah, but you guys are not like our moms. And it's like, but are you like your father, grandfather? Are you able to provide for and protect this family? If not, that you don't deserve to have those requirements and demands. Fix yourself. Make a decent amount of money. Have a plan. Even if the plan is for small amounts of money. And if you're making, let's say, something like 100,000 Rand, and you've quantified that for your wife and for your children, they need about 30,000, but you're making 100,000, that's when we can start speaking about things like polygamy. Because now you can afford more than one family unit. Because 30,000 and 30,000 is 60,000, you can afford them. Similarly, when you look at some of the guys who earn well, 50,000 Rand a month, and when you look at something like a Side-Chic and your relationship budget and allowance, you're like, for me to be in a relationship, maybe I need an extra 3,000 to 5,000, but you're making 50,000, and you're like, my woman, kind of 5, can get another woman for 5. You can comfortably take care of them and they can respect you and you can be happy. And this is me speaking to men, but the same applies to women. Not just the polygamy stuff, but if a woman wants to dominate in the household, is it because she's a good problem solver, decision maker? When she wants to dictate terms and conditions, is she going to be paying for those things? Can she solve some of those problems and handle the money, the family's finances? Otherwise, we're wasting time. And for me, like I said in previous videos, this is part of what I'm trying to do when I sit with couples, when I speak to men, when I speak to women and ask about their relationships. What's the plan? What are you guys doing? Oh, this girl is not doing anything at home. Yes, but she might not be bringing money in, but is she cleaning? Is she cooking? Is she taking care of the kid? That's her value add. Quantify that. That's her value. She may not be bringing money, but she's saving you money. She's maybe advising you. She maybe doubles up as an assistant in your business. She helps you with marketing on social media. These are some of the thoughts we need to sort out if we're going to be fixing our relationships as men and women, especially in the current state and moving forward. Pen you all the black pen. Cheers.